Right, what is up, guys? Um, I'm finally breaking radio silence, I guess, on YouTube, but not that it's that big a deal. But yeah, I've been putting off making this video for a while. Basically, just wanted to kind of give an update on the situation. Obviously, after kind of everything else has gone down, I guess. And I guess just like kind of give an update as to why what is happening for me personally. But also just what I kind of wanted to give some backstory. This isn't like an exercise to kind of drop names and like I don't know like blame place or anything like that. But basically just to kind of give it from my perspective. So going all the way back to the start, obviously joining OpTic on the PUBG team, like I've always been a fan of the org, always been a fan of the content, and like obviously loved everything that they've put out. And kind of towards like I guess the middle of last year, myself and I think myself first, and then Valiate later on. But basically Joe Lane, which a lot of you guys will probably know. He basically reached out and said, obviously there was problems and stuff with videos and getting deliverables done and blah blah blah. And basically asked if I'd be interested in kind of getting involved in some of those videos. And that was kind of how it all came apart of me being involved with the trivia videos and podcast and later on Fuel Royale and stuff like that, and I guess like the content team as a whole. But that was pretty much how it started. Like it was always something that I would have loved to have been involved and like loved to have been a part of that group of people. Like have massive amounts of respect for those guys and what they've achieved individually and stuff. But yeah, so obviously as I started appearing in videos and stuff, like I got a lot of good feedback. People, I guess, generally liked me. There was always going to be comments of people slating me and stuff, but on the whole, I guess got lots of good feedback from being in the videos. And then I obviously found out they were going to be dropping the PUBG team. And I mean, at the time, like the day I was told personally the PUBG team was going to be dropped, they asked me if I'd be interested in staying on as a content creator. And at the time, it wasn't really something I'd considered. We were, one of the, I'd say one of the better teams in NA in PUBG. So, stopping competing was never really something I'd considered or thought about before. So for like the next like month or so of still being in videos before the team was actually officially announced as dropped, I had lots of back and forth with a couple of the other content guys, like basically asking what they thought about it. I really wanted to kind of be like accepted by them more so than it be like an infinite decision to kind of just throw me in content and yada yada yada. But anyway, I guess after that, I obviously accepted the job. And told obviously my teammates at the time that I'd be staying even though the team was dropped, which I got some mixed results or reviews, I guess, based on that decision. But I still stand by the decision. I think it was best for me in the long run. It's led me to become more flexible and get into casting and stuff like that, which I'm massively thankful for those opportunities. But yeah, moving into kind of a content creator at that point was kind of like, I mean, I still think like it was like OpTic's like darkest time, I guess. And obviously things had kind of been developing pretty poorly throughout last year, and I wasn't involved in a lot of that, didn't know, the inner workings and why things were going wrong or why people weren't happy and stuff like that. Because I mean the only real person that I'd like interacted with before, I guess, kind of getting to know the rest of the content creators was Hitch. Uh, and that basically just came back from like he was always super forthcoming, and we played some games together on stream. And outside of that, I'd spoken to Ashley a bit, Midnight, back at the time. But I think before I became a content creator, the only person I'd really discussed anything kind of like OpTic wise or like job wise was Davis. But I still didn't, other than watching, the around the bar videos and stuff like that, and like hearing stuff and seeing things on Twitter, I didn't know like the inner workings of everything that was going on. but yeah, I think kind of, with the benefit of hindsight now, that was, it's easy to say that was kind of like the darkest time in OpTic. So I had those kind of thoughts, which is kind of what was, making me apprehensive. It's, it's a big change to be kind of welcomed into kind of the OpTic content team. But I was excited nonetheless. It was exciting for me. Um, but anyway, moving on. Coming on to the end of phase one of the Pro League, which ran from like January to March this year, was the last time I obviously played with my teammates. I still played with them whilst I was still on OpTic as a creator, which some of you may remember, may not. But I was back and forth in. I'd literally spend like Monday to Monday to Thursday in Dallas with OpTic, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was flying back out to LA every week to compete in the PUBG Pro League. I did that for like 8 weeks or whatever it was, and it kind of knocked the fuck out of me. But basically, come the end of phase one of the Pro League, I then obviously announced my retirement from competing, and obviously to move into content full time, as in like full time outside of the stuff I'd been doing with OpTic. So kind of working on my own content, my own channel, and all that stuff, which again was really really exciting. I was excited to kind of get my teeth into it and get moving with that. Which then obviously brought about Rallied joining the content team, to which I think at the time there was like there was a moment where I was going to move into the house with the other guys, and then again, I'm not sure, I wasn't part of that conversation, so I don't know why that never happened. But again, those guys had all lived together previously in the other OpTic houses. So the suggestion was made that we get a second house and we put some creators in there. Obviously at the time it was myself, Sheila, Rallied, was still kind of we were content creators for OpTic, but I guess not part of kind of like the core six guys, the guys that have been around for years and stuff. So there was this idea that was floated that like there would be like a second house, and I actually ended up living here for like a month or so before anybody else moved in, just kind of because I guess other people were slower with deciding whether or not they wanted to or whatnot, and Rao was still living in Chicago. But anyway, Rao ended up moving in, which was kind of like the birth of the B team, which pretty much was like, I think Rally kind of dropped that term in one of my first vlogs, and it kind of just stuck. But that was how the B team came about. It started with just me and Rally being in this house. But yeah, I guess things from then were kind of where they went on a steeper decline, I guess. But anyway, obviously fast forward then a couple of months up until obviously the acquisition, and there was big talks about obviously what was going to happen, who was going to leave, and obviously myself and Zobashi, who obviously later moved into this house with us as well. The first question I had obviously was around my visa. So I think obviously at the time I was still on a previous visa that needed renewing because obviously I'd stopped competing. My visa obviously being tied to OpTic LLC, not necessarily Infinite, but OpTic LLC. And again, I might be speaking out of turn here. I haven't fact checked all of this, but obviously with the acquisition of Infinite by IGC, my visa would obviously transition over to IGC because I think there's a company restructure there or something. I don't know, but obviously if I chose not to stay with OpTic, I would no longer have a visa, so I'd no longer be able to obviously stay here in the US. And I guess this is where it kind of gets like I guess like the emotional kind of element to it, which is the last 2 years have been like the best of my life, like period, like regardless of like the good times, the bad times, all the bullshit that surrounds this whole situation with the last 2 years, like it's like hands down, like like I guess the happiest and like the proudest time of my life. And and I don't want to give that up. That's not something I want to just stop and go back to something else, or try and make it on my own. And at the same time, in Rallied and Zobe, like having lived with them for like the last like 7 months now, like they're the best friends I've ever had. Like I've come to love them. Like I see them as brothers now. And the thought of obviously not still having that as well to hold on to, I guess was a big factor as well. But again, and I don't know how things would have played out the other way, but it's not something that I would have been happy to do, I guess. I mean, actually, it was funny enough. I haven't even talked about Roger yet, but obviously Roger has been a big part of my life for the last like 2 years now. Obviously, having had him travel with us to events when we were still competing in PUBG. Again, probably one of the best friends I've ever had, sort of thing. And working with him's been absolutely amazing, and obviously becoming closer and closer to him outside of work has been fantastic as well. And like Roger even said, like, what's the long term goal for you? Like, what do you want to do? Because I mean, effectively, you don't start working on your own stuff. Like, you're basically saying, you're just gonna become, a character in other people's vlogs, and that kind of really struck home for me. Because again, definitely, I have like I haven't kind of gone full in. Obviously, I'm talking now to you guys where I haven't uploaded in like 2.5 months or whatever, and that's kind of like that's on me. And still saying that this is what I want to do. Like I need to, pull my finger out and do it. But that kind of resonated with me as like I guess like one of the more inspirational things that Roger's ever said to me. But anyway, yeah, I guess it comes back to like just wanting to stay, wanting to stay with the B team, like between me, Rao, and Zobe. And that goes for wherever I go in the future. That doesn't just mean for in the interim now. Like that's what I want to do. I want to get back into streaming. I want to get back into I enjoyed those that first 2 months or so where I got into making my own content and uploading vlogs and stuff. And I want to get back to doing that. Like that was again like the happiest time of my life. Like hands down. But yeah, I guess like just to summarize, obviously like the visa stuff and wanting to stay with the other guys, and there's no bad blood on my part. Like I again I kind of came at a weird time, so I'm not able to kind of reference all the other stuff that the other guys experienced, and wrongdoings and stuff like that. And there was definitely stuff that happened that I didn't agree with, but I guess like from being so new to kind of the internal workings of that group of people, like I don't have I guess the emotional attachment that they do, and justifiably so. They're absolutely justified to say and do what they have done and said. And again, I hope I hope that goes for the other guys as well. Like, even go back to like the first few videos I was in with Big T, like that was just like such an honor for me, I guess. And you might say that's kind of cringy and cheesy, but it was like, it was a privilege to be in content with those guys. And I will always hold those memories very dearly to me. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. Not really much else to say on that. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, break radio silence and kind of clear the air. I'm not an idiot. Like I know there's going to be people that say that it's shitty what we're doing and staying, and I'm perfectly understanding of that. And honestly, like it's everybody's entitled to their opinions. And again, it's kind of easy to call stuff from the outside, and I don't expect everyone to understand. I don't expect everyone to agree with me as well. Like it's not like it's not as kind of black and white as that. People see things very differently. But anyway, I guess that's it. For the people that that follow me for me and not just because I was a part of OpTic, I hope that he will continue to do so, and obviously continue supporting me as an individual. And to everybody else, I apologize if I've done something that is going to upset you guys, but I guess that's it.